I'm thinking of doing a series where I read dense material so you don't have to, and the first article is this article from 2024, before all this stuff started happening. When my housemates sent me this article, they highlighted this, that for every 1 million immigrant workers deported, 88,000 US native workers were driven out of employment. So when we lose immigrant workers, we actually lose jobs for everyone else. The research was led by Professor Chloe East from University of Colorado in apparently one of the most selective journals for labor economists. Because we've unfortunately done mass deportations before, they were able to look at the results of those deportations. And so they were studying when we deported about 500,000 people between 2008 and 2014. The article says that very helpfully, the initiative was very easy to study because it was rolled out in different counties at different times, so people could compare how things were going where there were deportations versus the ones that hadn't had the deportations yet. And they found that both wages and employment was affected for those who are non-immigrant workers. Again, we're talking 88,000 US native workers for every 1 million deportations. Some people think if you deport immigrants, then somehow, miraculously, business owners will decide to give higher wages with higher benefits to Americans to fill the jobs. But the author of this article, who is also an economics professor, says that the best research says the actual opposite. Instead, what happens is that business owners will cut back. They may produce more. They will shift their investments to less labor-intensive technologies and industries, and overall, there'll be less production and employment. Furthermore, and I think this is pretty common sense, is like when you deport a bunch of people from a local economy, there are less people to spend that money at local businesses, restaurants. Lastly, there are a couple of other historical examples. Presidents Kennedy and Johnson tried to exclude Mexican workers from the U.S. economy in the 1960s. Apparently, that generated no new jobs or earnings for U.S. farm workers and created long-term declines in income and land value. Oh yeah, and they mechanized production instead of trying to hire extra people. It really makes me think about how AI is coming up, and, technology is even more prominent nowadays. So are we really going to replace these workers with other people, or are we going to use new ways to use technology to replace those people and not provide new jobs? By the way, the article is a part of a blog by the Peterson Institute for International Economics, which is a think tank in DC with some pretty heavy hitters in the economics world. And the specific article was written by a professor of economics at George Mason University. This guy.